We'd spent 5 amazing months exploring the wilderness of Patagonia, but we finally had to tear ourselves away. We were both really excited to move on to something completely different, and our next landmark was the Atacama, the driest desert in the world. But first we had to cover a huge amount of distance to reach it, and at an average altitude of 4,000 metres, we found ourselves climbing for days to reach the plateau. As we moved closer, the landscape was becoming more barren, until eventually it was like riding on the surface of Mars. The soil was an intense red colour, and there didn't seem to be anything living out there. So when we eventually did see life, we felt obliged to give it a little helping hand. But I think we completely underestimated just how vast this desert was, and at times we felt like we were never going to make it out of there.
So we are currently in the Atacama region of Chile, cycling across the Atacama. So we're here in the Atacama desert. So we're still in right in the middle of the Atacama. So that's the view from our tent, the Atacama desert. We're in such a remote part of the Atacama. So this is where we camped last night, here in the Atacama desert. So we're still in the Atacama desert. So we've been in the desert for a number of weeks now, and we're pretty close to Bolivia, maybe about 300 or 400 km from the Bolivian border.
So we're just about to turn off the main road and take a dirt road across the desert, following the road towards the Andes.
We've tried to do some research as to what lies ahead. We've looked at Google Earth images and read various cycling blogs.
But we're a bit uncertain.
There's about 210 kilometres.
And we know we've got about 2,000 metres of climbing to do, up to about 3,000 metres in altitude. So it's going to be a challenge.
And fingers crossed, it's definitely going to be one of the hardest sections of the trip.
Venturing off into the unknown was pretty exciting, and although a potentially dangerous environment, the desert showed us great hospitality, and we spent 3 nights drifting through this other world, completely absorbed in our surroundings.
One night to be confused, one night to speed up truth. We had a promise made, 4 hands and then away, both under influence. We had divine sense to know what to say. Mind is a razor blade to call for hands of above to lean on. Would it be good enough for me now? One night of magic rush, the start a simple touch. One night to push and scream, and then really.
And at the end of the road was the small town of San Pedro, a tourist haven in the midst of all the emptiness of the Atacama. It's a unique place with many buildings still made of traditional mud bricks, but on the inside we found modern bars and restaurants. We even got to see Chile beat Argentina in the Copa America final. These were really fun times.
So we set off in really high spirits because eventually, after many months of cycling in Chile, we were finally heading for a new country. Out here the distance is really deceptive. The mountains look really close and not so high, but it's going to take us about 2 days just to reach the top of where we can just see in front of us. It's crazy that Bolivia is just over this hill and we're going to be there. It's really exciting. In reality, that excitement began to quickly fade as we cycled relentlessly uphill for 2 solid days to reach the Bolivian border. Although it was a neighbouring country, it actually felt like we cycled into a completely different world.
We've finally reached the border, and this is it. This is the border between Chile and Bolivia. Of climbed about 2,300 meters with pretty much no descent. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So this is the immigration office just here. Pretty basic. We're at 4,600 meters above sea level. It's brutally cold. It's been hours since I felt my fingers and toes. About 8 kilometers that way is a refuge with some water and hopefully some sort of shelter, because the wind is cold. It's been maybe the hardest 2 days of cycling we've had. Just uphill the whole way from San Pedro. Every kilometre we've had to stop just to catch our breath. So today we've only managed another 23 kilometres, and each kilometre takes 15 to 20 minutes, and I think this next section is going to be very, very hard. Right, let's go.
Pray go lightly, lovely lady love. Into the night we go, walking shadow. And I feel I need to find another place to hide. I'm still reeling from the catapulting glances that you left inside. I'm still walking over bones that are frail and broken. She said, keep your eyes wide open.
Today's been probably one of the most challenging days that we've had since we started our journey. Cycling at about 4,500 meters. It's pretty tough on its own. Today we had a relentless headwind, pretty strong, 40 maybe 50 kilometers an hour. Temperatures 1 or 2 below zero, but with the wind chill it felt much colder. We got hit by a storm. You can see behind me the lake's kind of frozen over a bit. I think we were both, real close to just not being able to make it here. But here is on the Bolivian Altiplano. There's a small settlement of maybe 5 buildings. There's a small restaurant just over here where Laura's sat inside, and the people have been really kind to us. There's nowhere to stay. We're hoping we can just pitch our tent either outside, or even better if they let us sleep inside. It's so cold. We'll just go inside and show you which lovely people have opened up their hearts to us. Here we go. Today was a tough day. Hopefully this is where we're going to hang out today.
The Altiplano was definitely a grueling time for us, and possibly the hardest cycling we'd do on the whole trip. But good times were on the horizon as we teamed up with another 3 cyclists to head into the world's largest salt flat.
So this is the last village before we get into the Salar, which is like the salt desert. So we're just gonna stop for a quick cup of tea before we head off. Yeah, we stop here. Cool, yeah.
Sweet
slowly made our way onto the Salar. I don't think any of us could believe we were actually riding here. Something we've all wanted to do for so long. It's such a surreal place that for 360 degrees, all you can see is a salt flat against the horizon. It was really cool to be there with such a good group of people. And of course, we couldn't miss out on the chance to take a bunch of fun perspective shots. The sunset there was unbelievable, and as the light changed, the last few rays highlighted the most amazing pattern of hexagons on the ground. But once the sun disappeared, the temperature really plummeted. We managed to brave the cold and hang out for a few hours, but eventually we were forced into our tents, and at 3,600 meters, it was a really cold night, but we survived. And in the morning, we all had to say our goodbyes and head our separate ways.
Our time on the Salar was short but really amazing. And from here, most people head north towards the capital, La Paz, but we decided to head east to Santa Cruz. The road would take us off the Altiplano and towards the Bolivian jungle. I think it was a really good move because it was here that we got to see the real Bolivia. The roads were tough, but the less obvious challenges came when we needed to buy some food or find somewhere to sleep. Because in these parts, indigenous languages are still spoken and there's not many road signs, so trying to get directions from locals would usually result in a wild goose chase around a maze of narrow streets. When we did eventually find a shop, we would invariably buy the same 3 items: some bread, some tomatoes and some tinned fish. And it's amazing how long you can live on these 3 alone. Although we were not always sure what we would find in the local shops, it was the accommodation that had the biggest surprise.
So last night we got to a small village and decided to upgrade to a room instead of camping out, and just give you guys a little tour. So here we have the deluxe garden, pretty nice. This was our room for the night. Nice twin room, and we had to pay a whole £1 more because we had a TV. Yeah, the beds were comfortable, but the best bit of it all was, after a few days on the road, we could have a shower. So that's the light switch up here, which doesn't work. That's the hot water with a lot of electrical cables going to it to heat it up. When you turn the hot water on, it sparked a bit, so so we decided not to have a shower there. Yeah, so that was our pad for the night. We only paid £5 for both of us, and that was because we opted for a TV, which didn't work in the end. And it's still pretty early, 9 o'clock. That's early for us. We're about to hit the road.
Who we are, where we're going to. All this time preparing for it. come so far.
The road we decided to take led us through the mountains and further into the Bolivian jungle. We were on a mission to find the little mountain village of La Higuera. It had a special meaning to us because it was the place where the revolutionary fighter Ernesto Che Guevara was captured and ultimately killed. We wanted to learn more about his life here in South America. But the journey wasn't going to be easy. Over the next 8 days, we had 11,000 metres of climbing to do.
Let me know when we get there. If we get there.
So we are really far from the desert now, in the heart of Bolivia. The landscape's changed incredibly over the last couple of weeks. We camped out here on this big hill last night, and we're just getting ready to have some food and hit the road because we've got a big climb. We have to cross this mountain here. It's going to take probably most of the morning, and just on the other side, about 20k away, is a small village where we hope to get some food.
Pack yourself a toothbrush, dear. Pack yourself a favorite blouse. Take a withdrawal slip. Take all of your savings out. 'Cause if we don't leave this town, we might never make it out. I was not born to drown. Baby, come on.
I think we definitely feel like we're in the Andes now. It's been a real sufferfest climbing up these mountains. Incredibly steep. It's been incredibly hot as well. So it's been really tough. Here comes Reza. Just about walking pace, about 3.5, 4 kilometers an hour. So it really has taken a long time to get through this section. You can do it! And the ground's really loose too, really soft sand, so I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have fat bikes. It'd be impossible.
That was seriously steep.
How you feeling?
On top of the world. Woo! It's pretty brutal cycling here.
And when we looked outside, couldn't even see the sky. How do you pay the rent? Is it your parents? Or is it hard work here, holding the atmosphere? I don't wanna live like that, yeah. If the sun don't shine on me today, if the subways flood and the bridges break, so Jesus Christ can't save me tonight. Put on your dress, yes, wear something nice. Decide on me, yeah, decide on us. Oh, Eleanor, Eleanor.
Woo! Hurts so good!
The journey through Bolivia was incredible, but at the same time heartbreaking.
It's difficult to describe the hardship or poverty that we witnessed passing through these remote villages. We wish we could have done more than being mere observers of their struggle. But maybe through Lifebox, we have an even better opportunity to change at least one aspect of their social injustice. I guess in many ways we were privileged to be able to experience this way of life in the way we did, because as we drifted through on a bicycle, we were completely immersed within and for a short time a part of these fated places. And it's really this slow and non-intrusive aspect of bicycle travel that makes it so unique, and we're happy to venture on into the unknown.
پشت کندو های زنبور خونه ما پشت ابراز اونور دلتنگی ماست ته جاده های خیسه پشت بارون پشت در